I ask for the truth on behalf of Beth Morrell concerning this issue where she's struggling at the moment. I ask for the truth in the name of truth, right conduct, peace, love and non-violence. Blessed be to the truth always, and blessed be to the crow, the carrier of souls from darkness into light. And we just cut the deck, we just cut the tarot there, and we just move the cards to the side, and we'll deal out 3 cards for you there, Beth, to see what's going on. I don't normally do readings like this because there's no specific question or subject matter. It's just struggling could mean anything. Struggling that I can't somehow wire a plug properly, or struggling because I haven't won on the lottery just lately. I'm struggling to get the winning ticket. We don't know why we're struggling. So sometimes I think if people are asking for help, it helps to know what they want help with, otherwise we can't help them. But nevertheless, I sort of felt drawn to this, don't know why. And of course, if you ask a question and you don't you're not specific, you will get the answer to the question you don't want to ask. So let's see what that is, shall we? We'll deal out the 3 cards. The first card, we put in a spread of 3. Past, present and future in this case. So the past, the present and then the future. Now don't you see it, of course, in my case I tend to sort of say, well, the past is about a moon phase behind, about 27 days, so it's 3 to 4 weeks or so ago, whereas the immediate future is around about a moon phase ahead, which is 27 days, 3 to 4 weeks ahead. And then of course Beth Morrell just here in the middle, in the now, as you would say. Let's establish what has been going on just recently that's brought Beth Morrell into this little place that she's in right now. Well, she's struggling. We don't know what she's struggling with, but I'm sure the crow will be able to tell us. So the first card we pull out, we pull this first card out. This is the first one dealt, isn't it? And that's the recent past. So we just flip that card nice and slow now, not to disturb the energy or anything like that. We don't want to do that. And straight away, look, we've got Justice. Notice Justice, in a tarot deck you've got 2 decks, haven't you? You've got Major Arcana and a Minor Arcana. First 22 Major Arcana and then 56 Minor Arcana. And of course there's a lot of Libran energy attached to that, isn't there? With a Major Arcana energy, you haven't really got much choice in changing things. It's a bit permanent, if you understand what I mean. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a negative energy, but it's just that you've got you haven't got power to change it. And just recently, that's what it seemed to be. You didn't have much power to change what it was. If, in the sense of justice, you could simply straight away say it's a legal issue, or it's something official. It could be. Crowley calls this card adjustment. The crow, notice the crow there. The crow is the carrier of souls from darkness into light. Crow is king. Remember, crow is king. And notice how things are consumed in the fire. When we clear out the clutter and things like that. And of course, usually the sword and scales, isn't it? The two-edged sword, the sword of justice. Often the sword of justice is the sword of justice because of Solomon, isn't it? Where the 2 women were arguing over the child, and Solomon said, well, I'll get my sword and I will chop the child in half, and you can both have 2 halves. and one of the women screamed out, let her have the child. And he said, well, you must have been the mother, because a true mother wouldn't let her own child get chopped up into bits. And that's where we think the sword of justice come from. Maybe you've got your own tale or your own idea of where you think it might be originated. But from that, of course, nevertheless, it's about setting a balance and equalising things and just getting things sorted out just recently. I do sort of sense why I'm thinking legal, I don't know, maybe because it's justice, isn't it? And straight away you think legal. But of course, this could be anything from that to just simply clearing out the clutter in one's life, be that physical, a good spring clean, a bit early for the moment, I think, in the middle of winter, but it could be anything from a good spring clean from a physical point of view, or up to just cleaning out the clutter in one's life. Maybe certain people who haven't been faithful to you, or whatever. Well, of course, finances, of course, just sorting out the budget and just sort of trying to balance out, if I can't afford, I won't have, instead of, well, I'll put myself in debt anyway and pay it back later on and worry about that later on when we know that isn't really the right way to do it. But either way, whatever this justice represents here, we certainly know you've been making some adjustment in some department or other, be it, God forbid, be it legal, or be it, of course, just your own life in general. I want to move on now to the next card, which is in the spread, which represents you right now, because you can't define yourself by what you were doing back then, if it was unjust or not, and if justice was taken, even if action was taken against you. It doesn't matter to some degree, because you can't define yourself by what you were doing back then. You can only define yourself by what you're doing now, which is the most important thing. Let's see what that is. Let's see how you've been affected by this adjustment. Maybe adjustment just in your life in general, because of maybe a death in the family or something like that, where we have to adjust to the change of somebody not being around. It can be anything, because you weren't specific about what it was you wanted guidance or help with. We can only to some degree assume and just go around the wreaking and just carry on going round and round and round and finding every damn option we can until we hit the right one, which is a shame really, because isn't it? But nevertheless, right now, notice how you've got the King of Cups. The King of Cups, that's got sort of like a sort of watery energy to it, because Cups is a minor arcana card. Notice how Justice is a major arcana card. With the minor arcana, of course, you do have power to change things. Right now, you do have power to change it. The King of Cups is often seen as a sort of compassionate man. The male, the fiery sort of the king is the fiery part of, and then of course the cups is the water, the element of water. So you could say the fiery part of water, couldn't you, to some degree in that regard. But nevertheless, it seems as though there is a touch of compassion going on here. Maybe you're relying on a sage, some sort of diviner. Maybe it could be this, the fact that you're seeking readings and it's a reader of some kind there to sort of help you in some way, in some regard. But either way, you are relying on that. Of course, this could even symbolise you, couldn't it, right now, in the sense that you're being compassionate, although fiery, fire is just spiritual essence, so it's energetic. So although you've got the energy there, nevertheless you've got the water to quench it, to sort of know the balance, if you know what I mean, to sort of like know the balance of when to not go too far. Maybe you have been the one dishing out the justice, maybe again, if you've been having to be cruel to be kind, but also now it's time to be compassionate, or now it's time for somebody to show compassion towards you, maybe. Because you weren't specific about what you wanted a reading, about what you wanted help with, and the fact that you were struggling, maybe if it's just a simple case you're struggling to pass your driving test, then clearly right now, of course, there's a bit more compassion, and the instructors will probably be a bit more sort of tolerant with you, whilst you've been sorting yourself out, learning how to drive. We don't know what this issue is, but we can hazard a guess, and I would sort of think, I sort of got a sense and a feel that it's possibly legal, or just sorting one's life out in general and clearing out the clutter in one's life. Not so much chucking out rubbish like I've had to do over the past few weeks or so. But that's me, that's nothing to do with you. This is all about you at the moment. I want to see what the next card has to offer in the regards of the immediate future, given the fact that you're seeking the diviner, the sage, which could be yours truly at the moment. It could be absolutely anybody at the moment. Anybody in these free readings groups. It could be anybody there. Let's just see what this has to reveal for us. An ace, another minor arcana card. And yet again, you have the power to change it, continually change it between now and around about February time. You've got the ace of coins. There will be, after this act of compassion, maybe you'll discover that not everybody's bad. There are good people who are out there to help as well, and they're not all bastards like you probably think they are. Like the ones who've been out to sort of get you and rearrange your life a bit. And maybe this is where an arising will come. This is where an earthly material arising will come, literally. If it has been physically cleaning out the clutter from a monetary point of view as well, if it's a legal sort of thing, you've got to spend money on lawyers and things. But either way, whatever this cleaning out the clutter is, if it's budgeting your finances even, either way, like the feng shui, the tong shui energy will fight back, and the income will come back on you. What you put out comes back on you. So, of course, with the tong shui, if you practice that sort of thing, then of course, in a similar sort of way, and if you don't, in a similar sort of way, from a karmic point of view, if you've been doing good and been compassionate to others, of course, then it will sort of backfire in a positive way. And of course there is wealth to come, a new sort of you might be just in for a monetary windfall or a material windfall of some kind. Not a lot, but just a bit, just enough to say, hang on a minute, maybe life isn't that bad after all. Maybe there is an opportunity for healing. Maybe I won't die after all. Maybe life does go on. Maybe life is for the living after all. For now, these cards have spoken.